What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and baby, let's get into the drama of it all because we got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So let's talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey first. It looks like all these different publications, everybody wanted to drop an article yesterday. So there was an article dropped by OK Magazine USA where it basically said that Bravo pursued a new cast of younger women for season 15 of Real Housewives of New Jersey before putting the younger women in the current cast on pause. Okay, so let's talk about it. So the article starts out like this. It says Real Housewives of New Jersey has been in limbo since the end of season 14 in August of 2024. Now OK has exclusively learned Bravo offered an entire new cast a spot on the show only to then put the entire production on pause. When season 14 wrapped, Bravo decided to pursue taking the show in a new direction. A source close to RHONJ production exclusively dished as to what the direction was. The insider detailed how Bravo offered a new group, younger women position to be on the show. From the source explained, it seems apparent this would be akin to what Bravo did with Vanderpump's Rules, bringing in fresh and young people with new storylines. Bravo ended up not being sure what direction they wanted to take the show in, so they put the new women on pause as well as the old women. The source explains things are definitely still in the air even to this day. As the insider added, Bravo is still deciding what they want to do, as they are currently no plans to film anything for RHONJ until at least December 2025. This means the old cast could be back in some capacity, or it could be an entirely new cast. They noted truly no decisions have been made. Real Housewives of New York was the first iteration of a show to completely cut their cast after season 13 and bring in all new people. The ratings have never been what they were with the original cast, though, which is likely part of what has Bravo reconsidering what to do with Real Housewives of New Jersey. Bravo head honcho Andy Cohen recently spoke out about the state of Real Housewives of New Jersey in an interview with Us Weekly. You're not going to get it for like a year or so. Everyone stop asking, Cohen stated, adding he keeps saying you're going to get nothing, so fans need to stop asking. While the Real Housewives of New Jersey last season wrapped, the cast was divided into two sides, with one group of the women standing behind Teresa Giudice and the other group of women defending Giudice's arch nemesis, her sister-in-law, Melissa Gorga. The cast only member that was able to navigate both sides was Dolores Catania. So here's my thing. I would be totally fine with them rebooting Real Housewives of New Jersey and giving us a brand new cast. But I want them to go to the production team that did the reboot for Real Housewives of Miami and maybe slide over there to Hulu and talk to the people who got the cast together for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Because if you are going to get a young cast, look at Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Because they started off with, I think, the youngest person being 22 and the oldest person being 30. And by the end of the season, the youngest person was 23 and the oldest person was 31. But I think that cast worked because at the end of the day, these women knew each other to a certain extent, and at a base level, they all wanted to be a part of the show and work together, even though they were having issues with Whitney. Then when you look at Real Housewives of Miami, there were two solid friendships already presented to us. And then you had everybody else in the middle, forming real friendships and trying to really work together. Like Marisol and Alexia have known each other for multiple decades. Then you had Adriana and Julia who had a strong connection to each other. Then you introduced Gertie and Nicole and they became really good friends. And then Lisa was still cool with Marisol Adriana, Alexia, and Larsa. And Larsa and Lisa had a decent friendship. You add Kiki in the mix, and it's like it works because it seems like everybody wants to be a part. On top of that, the friendships are forming organically and they feel real. I think the issue with them comparing the reboot to New York is they did them a disservice by having a group of ladies who are, one, very aware of the cameras and who oftentimes feel like they're just saying things that they seen off of Twitter and are really trying their best to be like politically correct, other than giving us genuine and honest feelings and opinions. And then because they are so aware of the cameras, they talk about stupid drama like Jenna Lyons' pubic hair, and then they're drawing Jenna Lyons' pubic hair. That's not entertaining. Then you have Bryn over there trying to orchestrate drama, and it's just like it feels forced, it feels contrived, and that's because none of these women really are friends or really know each other like that. And it doesn't seem like they're trying to get to know each other on the off seasons the way it seemed like the women on Real Housewives of Miami have done so. Like Gertie's birthday, I think, was on the 2nd or the 1st of January, and she had a whole get together with majority of the cast. Julia wasn't there, but I didn't expect Julia to be invited because Julia and Gertie not in a good place. But Marisol was in Switzerland with her husband, but the rest of the cast was there. And they were all having a good time celebrating with Gertie on her birthday, and they're not filming anymore because filming has wrapped. So that's the issue. They need to pick a cast, if they're going to do a reboot, that's willing to actually be honest and at the base have an understanding that we are going to form real friendships, or actually just bring on a friend group. Or, like I've seen other people say, just bring back the cast in its entirety and tell these women, either you film together or you don't get paid. And you get paid for episode to episode. And that would probably make people show up. I've also seen people say just bring back Teresa, Rachel Fuda, and Dolores as a friend of, and then build around those three ladies. I've seen other people say bring back Teresa, Rachel Fuda, Dolores, and Jennifer Fessler and build around those three. It doesn't seem like a lot of people want Jennifer Aiden back, or Margaret back, or Danielle, or Melissa. But I've seen multiple people just say, bring Teresa back and like have only 2 girls come with her. Now, I know Jennifer Aiden is in some hot water for that whole debacle at the airport with the Jersey Mike staff. I feel like people are dragging it. Granted, was she in the wrong? Yes. Like, girl, you was doing too much. And she got humbled very quickly. The internet let her know that, as well as she was supposed to be a part of this thing called like Fans at Sea with Dolores and Teresa, and they kicked her off of the lineup. So she got reprimanded. So I feel like everyone's dragging it because they don't like Jennifer. And because we're not going to act like we didn't see the women on Real Housewives of New York treat the staff horribly. Ramona was always doing that mess. We've seen some of the ladies on Beverly Hills be nasty to staff, and people didn't have that much to say. But it's because it's Jennifer, we up in arms about it. Well, really, now I won't say we, y'all are. I like Jennifer, but I definitely think she was in the wrong for what she did. And she's been getting her lashings for it. But I feel like at this point, we in the 2nd week of January almost. Let it go. Let it go. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Drop down in the comments below and let me know what y'all think. Who would you add to the cast? So next, y'all, let's get into the Mia of it all, because Essence has written another article again. Because like I said in my Potomac video, I was like, wasn't Essence the ones that wrote the colorism article? I guess they said they have more to say, okay? All right, y'all. So let's read it. So this is an opinion piece by Miss Victoria. I do not know how to pronounce her last name, and I'm not about to try. I wish you could readily like press on words in your phone and there be like a way to like pronounce it so you can say it phonetically correct, because what it looks like and what it sounds like in my head, I know is probably not how you pronounce this lady's last name. But let's get into it. This was posted on January the 7th, and it says this: opinion. There's nothing entertaining about Mia Thornton's Real Housewives of Potomac storyline. Mia is a right to not stay in a toxic relationship, but between ever-changing stories, moving her boyfriend in immediately with her kids, and those Instagram posts, could she go about things any worse? All right, y'all. So this is how the article starts off. It says, when Mia Thornton joined Real Housewives of Potomac during season 6, I enjoyed her quirks. I liked that she owned things that other people would hide or side eye. From her plastic surgery to her past in the strip club, she seemed fun. As she drew criticism from cast member Wendy Osefu, then I remember being impressed that she seemed relatively unbothered, smiling through tense moments and genuinely appearing just happy to have a peach. Wait, that's Atlanta. I think it's a glass of wine in Potomac, but you know what I'm referring to. Whatever symbol signifies that you're a main cast member and that you've arrived. Watching her in season 9, though, has been difficult as her marriage to Gordon Thornton has, at least on the show, seemingly gone kaput, and she publicly moved on with a man from her not so far past named Ink, aka Incognito, moving him in with her kids while living in the same apartment complex with her estranged husband. It's been a train wreck, and while she's spoken about how hard everything has been, not knowing where her kids were last night's episode and feeling overwhelmed by the complexities of her situation, she behaves as someone feeling quite the opposite. Now, I do agree with this person in the first paragraph about liking Mia's quirks, liking the fact that she owned that she was a stripper, owned the fact that how her and Gordon got together and things of that nature. And it did seem like she was unfazed by the insults that the ladies threw her way. But I think where this person kind of messed up is we don't know if Ink moved in with Mia. Mia has always presented that Ink lives in Atlanta, but when he comes to DC, he comes and hangs out with her. That to me is not moving in, but I do agree that it's moving fast by allowing your kids to be around him so quickly and you haven't even finalized your separation paperwork, let alone your divorce. So it goes on to say, every week she gives some odd update on the situation to her cast members, sometimes without being asked, running down the situation as if she's informing everyone of the latest from Netflix series. Guess what you missed? These updates will often run concurrent to what she shares on social media, as her eager boyfriend and soon-to-be ex-husband, who have been open about his bipolar 1 diagnosis, would toast and seem to be on good terms in pictures and in videos, only for Gordon to decide he wasn't with the bull as soon as the flash went off on the camera. Or as she claims. And while Mia has the right to not stay in a toxic relationship, marriage with 2 kids or not, could she go about things any worse? Listen, if my husband left me for a woman he had an affair with and allegedly impregnated, and she allegedly had an abortion, and then moved that same heifer/woman into a home with my children almost full time, I cut up too. They were all filming together until Gordon expressed that he couldn't do it any longer, and then the new boo even wanted a DNA test for her oldest son. This for their oldest son. That things remained as peaceful as they did have been a miracle under the circumstances. So I agree with this section as well. I do think that Mia played this storyline wrong, because I do feel like there was a way that she could have had this storyline and it not be this messy or this sloppy. But Mia is not that savvy to maneuver this situation. The issue I have with Mia is her constantly coming up to these ladies with these stories about how chaotic and ghetto her life is right about now, and then being mad at them when they see something totally different online. Like, I wasn't even mad at Giselle when she questioned Mia, because you came to her event talking about Gordon called me an adulterer. He said I went to the clinic, and like, how dare you speak about my body? I'm gonna need to really lean on you women right about now. Ink told me he was gonna take a step back because he can't handle Gordon. And then 24 hours later, you posted online that you and your ex-man and your new man taking shots at the pool with the kids. So I feel like if you ask people for their support, you ask them and tell them like, hey, I'm gonna need you guys to be there for me because I'm gonna need to lean on you, then there does need to be a level of transparency and honesty that you give these women. So them asking you questions should not cause Mia to be defensive if she's telling the truth about what's happening in her life. And then the portion about Gordon and his diagnosis and if the roles were reversed, I somewhat agree with this. Now, do I feel that badly for Gordon? No. I feel like he's just reaping what he sowed. This is the way, you fell out with your first or your second wife. You cheated on, I think, your second wife with Mia. It is what it is. Where I feel bad for Gordon is I feel like Mia has tried to paint this picture like this man is unhinged and unstable. And I don't like when men do it to women. And I don't like that Mia's doing it to Gordon, especially when we've seen Gordon show up and he doesn't seem that way. He seems very coherent and in his right mind. And it seems like every time that Gordon objects to what Mia is doing or is not following the storyline, all of a sudden he's manic and he's unhinged. And we've seen men do that to women when they no longer want to participate in something. They try to create this narrative that the girl is psycho or she needs to be on pills and all of this stuff and she's unhinged. So if I don't respect it and I don't like it when it's women, I definitely don't like it when it's men. So I don't feel like that's fair. Because I feel like Mia tries to act like she has this level of love and care for Gordon and respect for him, but she doesn't. It's not showing up that way. And I think if you keep saying that like your main focus is your children and keeping your children safe, then there should be a level of respect for their father. And it doesn't seem like Mia has that. So the article continues with saying Gordon also continued to be a constant in her life, which she claims she wasn't happy about because she wanted to continue to care for him. With her I love yous and conversations outside of the kids will be at your house, at your place at X time, boundaries, even her BFF Jacqueline Blake said it felt like she was giving him false hope. And we all agreed with Jacqueline when she said that one time. But would you look at that? While the season is still playing out, Mia in real time has announced her split with Ink, and amid that, she shares a photo with her much happier Gordon, both smiling and posing close. Please take us out of the group chat. And that is the roller coaster of trying to follow the storyline about Mia Thornton. She spent the majority of the time painting Gordon as controlling, scorned ex, one she only keeping around for the kids, and not just to have the same control he seeks. And now she's cheering on a new year and new beginnings with him by her side, perhaps only wanting to move on from the marriage if she could be with Ink and realizing the grass wasn't greener on the other side. Maybe she just needed some time away from Gordon to miss a somewhat good thing, or perhaps it's just a picture and they're celebrating healthy co-parenting. As usual, one can never tell. One reality that I think about from episode to episode is how complicated all of this has been for the kids and not just her own. It's one thing to put on for the cameras and confuse your cast members and hell viewers about who you're with and what's going on. But watching her parade ink around her young kids, Jeremiah and Juju, she has a teenager in Atlanta, FYI, including a son that man believed was his, was Iki. When her daughter said in front of her father that Mia couldn't marry Ink, not only was it awkward, it was sad. While she was trying to move on fast, everyone around her was still trying to cope and get clarity. And let us not forget the sidestep the fact that she says one thing to the ladies and displays something completely different to the world. Mia insulted her co-star Giselle Bryant's daughters, claiming the TV personality tries to paint them in a positive light while they were allegedly sneaking boys into a hotel room when they were teenagers. What did they have to do with anything? And it doesn't change the fact that Giselle was right. She would say Ink would step back so she could focus on her family and then post pictures with him next to them minutes nowhere near back. When tasked with apologizing publicly for what she implied about the girls, also publicly, Mia fringed that she said too much, going on to do so, only to share later the said sorry in private. When co-star and friend, at least during the season, Ashley Darby told her she should take full accountability for the comments because kids should be off limits, Mia took it as an attack because she's the only one suffering, remember? But then therein lies the problem with Mia. She may very well go through hell with Gordon and sometimes with the ladies too. I'm not in agreement with Giselle or Karen calling her out about a very real issue in front of everyone on the very first episode. If her kids, if she cared about her kids, call. No, if you care about your kids, call. Still, she struggles to take real responsibility for the role she plays in the mess. If you're going to preach about being authentic and being able to say, I probably could have done this differently, publicly and privately as part of that, as well as modifying how you're doing things based on some missteps. But she keeps us in the group chat, and my teeth remain clenched in the shame of it all. I know Mia is inspiring some women who believe there's something women in the males field about her behavior, treating men the way they often treat women romantically. Still, nothing entertaining about the impact of all of this will have on her children. When they grow up and realize Ink wasn't just a friend who was often around, recalling the chaos of their chaos of their father's situation, hearing the conversations about DNA tests and realizing they saw things they shouldn't have, like when Jeremiah Gordon claims at the end of season 8 told him he found Mia and Ink in the bed together at one point. There are a lot of questions that are going to need answers. If there's anything to be concerned about from a compassionate standpoint, it's them. Mia was first entertaining because she was open. Nowadays, she's a little too forthcoming about the wrong things and not necessarily honest in her retelling. Perhaps the woman who first introduced herself as an open book with nothing to hide is still just doing that, but this particular story is one I no longer am interested in. So that was the entire article, and I was wondering if Mia was going to respond, and she did. And it was in her Insta story. Someone messaged her in a comment saying, Essence Magazine ate you up, babe. And she responded saying, nope, it was an honest opinion. I actually appreciate it. I think that's one thing that Mia has, that it seems like Mia cannot be shamed. And for some people, that is a superpower where they can't be shamed by others' critiques and opinions of them. And I think Mia puts on a good front. I do think there's certain instances where she has shown that she is embarrassed by her behavior or the backlash that she has been receiving from the fans. But like I said, she puts on a good front of not being ashamed of how she's showing up this season. And I wonder at the reunion if she's going to keep that same energy. So here's my thing overall. Do I think Mia's going to get kicked off this show? No. I would actually be surprised if Mia's not back for season 10, because I just saw that Real Housewives of Potomac got nominated for an NAACP award. And this the category is Outstanding Reality Program, Reality Competition Series, and Game Show. So they're going up against Celebrity, Family Feud, Password, Rhythm and Flow, the Real Housewives of Potomac, and then Tia Mowry's My Next Act. They not getting rid of Mia. She'll probably be on the chopping block. I can see season 11. I do feel like if she comes to the reunion just like Karen and be remorseful and take accountability for the way that she played out her storyline, she probably will be back next season. Even if she doesn't, she'll probably be back next season, because like I keep telling people, and like I've said in my review, polarizing characters sell TV shows, and Mia is a polarizing character that a lot of people love to hate or love to make think pieces or make comments about, the same way people felt the same about Candace. A lot of people wanted Candace kicked off the show. And now that she's not a part of the show, everybody want her back, or a certain majority of people want her back. So I'm just like, having polarizing characters are needed for some reality shows. I just think that Mia could have went about this storyline a very different way, but she's not smart enough to do so, because Mia is not the first person to exploit her situation. Reality TV has been going on since the 90s. And people have had even more messed up storylines. Look, I watch Hot or Not, Mama June. That lady is a full-blown drug addict. I think the last season I watched, she had stole money from both her kids. You know, she and her man got arrested. She was high on camera, and they were exploiting her situation. Her kids were okay with it because they needed a check and, you know, their children. So it's like, you can't really fault Mia too badly, but it's just like, it's not like what she's doing is so uncommon. It's just, it's not a good storyline anymore, because Mia's not smart enough to gear this in a different direction. And she keeps contradicting herself by being mad at the women when they question her, when she's the main one bringing her story to the ladies. It's not like the ladies are oftentimes going out their ways to figure out what's up going on in Mia's life. It's Mia always bringing what's going on in her life to the women. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. And as always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in them comments below. Share your thoughts with me, as well as subscribe if you like what you heard, and give me a thumbs up if you like what you heard. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.